Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Gym Floor. We've got Tanya with us. She's a qualified nutritionist and she's actually going to be joining the KB brand. She's going to be working out of the gym and helping our members with everything nutrition, meal plans, all of that stuff. So if you are one of our members, please head down there, or even if you're not, I'm sure we'll put down your links and stuff below of where people can find you and she can help you out with all your nutrition needs. But anyway, I'll give you the mic to introduce yourself, how you've gotten into like nutrition and just the early days.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a clinical nutritionist. I've got a Bachelor of Health Science and I've majored in nutritional and dietetic medicine. I basically got into the field when I was 16. My dad passed away suddenly. So he had a heart attack, unfortunately, passed away. He wasn't your typical kind of overweight looking individual. He was quite fit. So it was a little bit of a shock to the system, and I just kind of needed to understand the human body a lot more and understand, you know, what different organs do and what happens. And you don't really get taught that at school, I don't think, and you don't really get taught that in general.
Definitely not.
So I kind of, immersed myself into the field of nutrition, and here I am today, I guess.
Yeah, obviously it's a terrible thing to hear, but at the same time, it's obviously thrust you down that path and it's made you so motivated to want to learn and try and obviously put yourself in that place where you don't want to see other people's fathers and stuff and end up like that. So do you want to go a little bit to how uni was?
Yeah.
Obviously health and science, Bachelor in Health and Science, is it?
Bachelor of Health Science, yeah.
So how many years were you at uni for to start off with?
God, it felt like forever. I probably completed the bachelor degree within 4 years. So I went to the Endeavour College of Natural Health, and the way they structure the uni course is 5 subjects per semester, which anyone that does go to uni, it's usually capped at 4. So it's a pretty full-on course. I took 4 years, but anyone that's willing to go down that nutrition path, I really recommend get your bachelor degree in health science. You learn so much about chemistry, the body, how different nutrients and minerals actually interact with one another. And I find that that's really important, and that will give you that extra step here in the health world, because the health world is just so saturated on social media and online, you know.
100%.
Really
I think
important.
we were talking a little bit about this off air before. And I was saying to you that a lot of people are learning these days to try and memorize and repeat.
Yes.
Rather than actually in the pursuit of trying to learn and understand what they're talking about. And we see that, and like we had a sort of reaction. This was the last Gym Flow episode. We had reactions to TikToks of people giving out advice. And yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of information out there as well, let alone the context behind of which that information should be used for or where it's coming from. So it's obviously very good to see someone that's fully qualified to be able to jump on a podcast like this and let people know what the right approach is to take. So what was the most hated subject and what was your favorite subject? Or like
chemistry? No. Yeah, chemistry was tough. I mean, I didn't come from a science background. I stopped science in year 10.
Yep. So
walking into full-on chemistry, I was like, I have no idea what anyone is talking about here. It took me a long time to get my head around it. But once you get your head around it, like they've got their own language, you kind of get it. My favorite subject, I don't know, maybe actually, you know what? My favorite subject would have been like nutritional biochemistry, because I did get my head around chemistry, and then you go really deep into nutrients and minerals and stuff and how they interact. I did pretty well there. So yeah, I'd say that would be my favorite. So work hard, you'll get there.
Yeah. Well, it's essentially a little bit more math behind it, isn't it? And like their own sort of language in the way of like algorithms and stuff. But yeah, obviously having that extra knowledge and understanding how things actually get absorbed into the body is super important. And maybe you could just touch a little bit on that. So say like maybe proteins, how they're important in the body. We'll start off with proteins first. So amino acids.
Okay, so amino acids are, you know, individual protein molecules, and then you get a protein molecule with all your amino acids in there, or whatever the amino acids needed for the structure. But look at protein in a really basic form as your structure. So it's needed for every part of the body. It's really important to reach your protein goals for the day. And I find that will like people that are training and focusing on that, building the muscle, building the structure of the body, that it's really important that they meet their protein needs for the day. This is just a side note, a lot of people don't understand the importance of protein. So
yeah, I find that as well.
Yeah, they undereat, or they'll eat more fats, I guess, than they do protein, which is something that I don't highly recommend at all.
Yeah. And a lot of people, especially, I don't know whether you find this, but maybe like women clients as well, a little bit scared to eat protein in the fear of maybe putting on muscle and stuff like that. But it's so important that we do get that protein. Like we have like enzymes.
Exactly.
They're all made up of protein. So pretty much every chemical reaction that happens around the body is made up of some type of amino acid.
Exactly. It's a protein. It's everything in the body. And it's only highlighted as a muscle thing, I think, for building muscle essentially, but it's for everything. It's exactly how enzymes work.
It's a precursor to a lot of hormones and stuff as well. Like thyroid, for example, precursor to tyrosine. Yeah, that flows on down.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of misinformation around it, isn't there? And to always think that, hey, this is going to just make me super bulky.
Yeah, it's not really like that. Actually, something that I found when I finished uni is when you do more of a sciencey background, you get told at uni that you can't actually speak like that to the general public because they don't understand what you're saying. So you have to put it in layman's terms. And then I think that's where a lot of, miscommunication happens, because you'll put something quite complicated in a really simple sentence, and then everyone kind of thinks they know how to do nutrition and health or even training, but it's just so you understand the concept. It's not the full concept that picture, they're talking about. Like
we're just delivering it to you so you can implement it. Not necessarily have to understand it.
You're not an expert because you know that, cruciferous vegetables are healthy. Tell me why, you know what I mean? Like, why are they healthy? What are they good for? What do they help excrete in the body? Like, all that little bit.
Yeah. So we'll touch on fats next.
Yeah, fats. So how they work in the body?
Yeah, sure. Okay, sort of how they work in the body, obviously how they sort of get broken down, fatty acids and things.
Yeah, okay. So fats get broken down in the liver mostly. So the liver is actually it's a really important organ, but fats usually get broken down in the liver. You have cholesterol that's made naturally in the body, which is needed for hormones, so it's extremely important. You've got different kinds of fats. You've got how do I explain this? Like your fat structure, kind of like that protein structure, varies as well. And then they work for different processes in the body. Now,
well, we have essential amino acids and essential fatty acids for a reason, don't we?
So you know what that word essential means? Why they put that in front of
your body can't produce it.
Exactly. So your body can't produce it. So if whenever anyone's reading anything or looking into something, that word essential just means that your body can't produce it, but it needs it in order to produce the function, I guess, in the body. Yeah.
And when you hear like essential amino acids, it's not like you need that to be able to build muscle. It's like you need that for your body to be able to function.
Yeah.
Is another thing. Like obviously you need it to build muscle as well, but the most important thing is for you to be healthy.
There's something that I talk about my clients with. It's called like the triage of health, and it's basically like think of a pyramid. Think of a pyramid, right? And you need iron. You need iron for a lot of different parts of the body, but everyone knows you need iron for, your blood cells and stuff. Iron works for other parts of the body as well. If you're not eating enough iron for that entire pyramid of health, all those little enzymes, all those little pathways in the body aren't going to get the iron that they need. They're just going to go straight to the pathway that's essential, that makes you kind of wake up the next day.
It's like a flow-on effect, isn't it? Isn't it? So if you're sort of missing one, at the top, the rest of it can't happen because it needs that essential step at the start, and then to work is obviously way down as it sort of flows on. So we'll touch on the last one, carbohydrates.
So carbohydrates is a big one. Everyone knows that it forms that single molecule, that glucose molecule. You need carbohydrates for brain, nerves, energy, obviously. Carbohydrates do get stored in the fat cells as well.
Do you want to just quickly touch on that, the brain and nerve?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you probably know this, but like obviously a misconception is, or just a lack of understanding, I should probably actually say, is the brain, that's the brain's primary source of fuel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Glucose.
Yeah.
So do you want to touch on a little bit of that, like especially people that are on like ketosis or don't like carbohydrates or think carbohydrates are going to make you fat?
Yeah. It's got that negative connotation, carbohydrates. You need carbohydrates, you just need them. And people need to accept that you need them, but you need them in a balanced amount. Okay. So, and you also need the right kind of carbohydrates. So there's, refined carbohydrates, which is like, your white sugars and stuff, but then you've got carbohydrates that come from things like fruit, vegetables. They're a better source of carbohydrates, or even grains, because they actually do other things in the body as well as give you energy. So grains they create fiber, they create butyrate in the intestinal cells, which feed your gut microbiome. You're not going to get that from a lolly.
Yeah.
So carbohydrates is complicated and simple at the same time. You definitely need them, but it needs to be balanced, and it needs to be a good source of carbohydrates.
Yeah, amazing. All right, we're going to move into a segment, something a little bit of a giggle. So it's going to call it overrated, underrated. Okay, so we're going to shoot some questions at Tanya, and just related to mostly around nutrition, and she's going to say whether they're overrated or underrated and give a little explanation on it. All right, so I'm going to introduce Jamesy into this one behind the camera. He's going to shoot the questions out. Make sure you're speaking into the mic, all right, mate?
BCAAs. Okay, so if you're getting your right protein amount, they are overrated. You don't need them. I don't know why you'd need to take additional amino acids if you're getting the protein from the food. So overrated.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Organic produce.
Okay, they are a little bit.
It's a bit of a controversial one, isn't it? And it's very much in like context. So if you can go into context in if you want to.
If you can afford it, then yeah, definitely do it. But if you can't afford it, don't think that you're not healthy at all. I just think do what you can afford. Definitely look at the Dirty Dozen, because that's been heavily studied on how much it absorbs, I guess. But it's just up to your like.
I think some people will think that like if you're not eating organic vegetables, that it's like there's no point in eating vegetables.
Exactly. Just eat your veggies.
Just eat your veggies. Yeah. Like if you can afford to go organic, cool.
Yeah.
If you can't. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
So
in the middle, I reckon.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Properly rated.
Electrolytes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Electrolytes are so overlooked. They're your minerals. You get rid of them through sweat. I think they're definitely underrated.
Underrated. Cool.
Keto diet.
Oh God, overrated. Doesn't make sense to me.
That was a quick one off the tongue.
Why? Like the first thing I'd ask is why. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's a very aggressive form of dieting, so definitely overrated.
Yeah, and it's the one I get asked the most about, like keto diet. Hey, should I do keto? It's
no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
So unsustainable. So unsustainable. Do you want to actually touch on just a brief of like why it's so unsustainable?
Okay, so essentially you need to get your body into a state of ketosis, which means your body uses fat to burn energy instead of carbohydrates. Now, if you don't know how to do this properly, under medical supervision, you can actually make your blood extremely acidic and die.
Ketoacidosis.
Exactly, you'll get extremely sick, like you'll get admitted into hospital. But it's been studied for people that have epilepsy, which, if you have epilepsy and you need to go down that pathway, 100% it's going to prove those benefits to you. But I don't understand why you need to cut out carbohydrates. We just said carbohydrates are great. Your brain needs carbohydrates. Your nerves need carbohydrates. Like your gut microbiome need carbohydrates. Like why are you limiting all those other systems in the body just for, this?
Trying to burn fat. Yeah. So for fat loss, definitely overrated.
Definitely.
Magnesium, the supplement.
Yeah, magnesium's great. It's definitely underrated. So there's lots of different forms of magnesium, and the different forms have been studied for different uses. So magnesium oxide, I must say, is a lower bioavailability within the body. So stay away from the oxide. But glycinate's a really good one.
Yeah, that's what I use. Glycinate. Very good.
So good for muscle cramps and magnesium's great. I love it. Definitely underrated.
Fat burners.
Oh God. Overrated. overrated. Again, like quite aggressive to your adrenal glands. I think people should stay away from them. Have a cup of coffee. There's actually studies, I can send it to you. There's a study that if you have a shot of espresso, a cup of coffee before you train, it's going to do like wonders for, I guess, if you guys like the word fat burning, thermogenesis.
Yeah, thermogenic effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cheaper as well. So yeah, definitely overrated.
Fish oil.
Fish oil. I'm going to say overrated. Purely because when you have a supplement from a fish oil supplement, you don't know how it's been stored. Oils need to be stored at, I'm sure you know, they change molecular structure during certain temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say they are overrated. I think you should get your fish oil from a food source than a supplement source.
Yep.
Last
one, the vegan diet.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right. I know
answer
vegans
it how you
have
want
a
to
big
answer it.
I think it is overrated. I'm very sorry. I think you need to have high quality animal meat in your diet in order to be healthy.
Yeah. And I know I got a bit excited. I know I got a bit excited on that one. And if you're doing it for ethical reasons, fantastic.
Yeah.
Like hats off to you. If you don't want to see the slaughtering of animals and stuff like that, hats off to you. That's fantastic.
But in terms of health,
yes.
Yeah. The animal meat has all your essential amino acids.
Yeah, as we spoke about, so important.
Exactly. So remember, protein is needed for every structure within the body. It's affordable. I mean, now that you can also see how the animal was raised, which is really good, which is what I really like. Obviously, the animal needs to be in a proper environment for the meat to be of high quality and stuff like that.
Yep. So you're talking about like free range and grass fed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly right. Yep. And their fats will be a lot healthier than opposed to their, I guess not looked after counterparts.
Yep.
But it's got plenty of minerals and vitamins that your body needs in order to thrive. So yeah. Overrated. Yeah, sorry.
That's the questions for that. All right. Last question, and this is one for me before we sort of shoot off and wrap it up, is what's your most memorable moment of being a nutritionist? So this could be involved with the client or maybe for yourself. Just interested to hear.
My memorable moment. Maybe I do have a high female client base.
Mm-hmm.
And I do get a lot of women that suffer from PCOS, so polycystic ovarian syndrome. Mm-hmm. And I would have to say the first client that ended up getting her period back after so many months was huge. It's such an achievement. And the women out there who suffer from PCOS would understand what a happy moment it is to get your period back and be able to be fertile again, or to get some level of fertility within the body. So I would have to say that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So sort of after working with you for a couple of months, she was able to.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again. Yeah, exactly. So
how long was it since she had it? Sorry, that's like.
Yeah.
No, that's probably just straight off the top. It's.
I think it was. She hadn't got her period. It hadn't been regular anyway, but the last time she got it was probably 8 months prior.
8 months prior to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they usually, women that suffer from this, it's quite irregular. So they might get it like twice a year, or they might get it every 6 months.
Yeah, that's amazing. So anyway, guys, as I spoke about before, she will be joining the KB team. Do you want to tell a little bit of what you will be doing here as you'll be joining KB?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll be working with the KB team here. I'll be their on-site nutritionist, which is really exciting.
Yeah, well.
Basically, we've put together a little pack which has 2 consultations with myself, an individualistic meal plan, which I take the time to do. So so
it's not a cookie cutter approach, guys, all right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be, give me about 24 hours, I'll say to each client, so I can really understand how your body works, how your lifestyle works, and then I'll put something together for you, which will be more of a long-term solution. You get a shopping list with that, so it can help you change your meals up a little bit. And obviously, you've got me, contact with me 24/7 whenever you need. So yeah, I'm really excited to join the team.
Amazing. So that's great news for all, obviously, the KB members out there. So Pat, they're just going to the front desk, ask about that. Beautiful. He's giving me the thumbs up. All good. So also give yourself a little plug. Where can people find you online? I know you do a bit of online work as well.
Yep. So whoever has Instagram, it's hhw_clinic. And my website is www.holistichealthandwellbeingclinic.com.au.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, Tanya. There's so many gold nuggets in there. I really appreciate you taking the time out of the day. I know we're going to see you around a lot, so maybe we can do another segment here and there. I really enjoyed that overrated, underrated.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
If you guys actually have anything or any topics that you want questioned on, maybe on the overrated, underrated or anything like that you want to shoot out for the next one, please comment below and we'll be sure to ask it and answer it for you guys.